every day there is an opportunity in the marketplace, and if you have a well established way of extracting money from the market, then you just run your method, find the better setups and exploit them. That's really is what is there to the game, especially on a day like today where there's so much noise and all kinds of fear and people talking about this and that. But at the end of the day, all that we have to do is run our scans and use the methodology, especially for breakouts of 3-lynch. And what does 3-lynch stand for? 3-lynch stands for stock not up 3 days in a row, linear move, young move, negative day, or a narrow range day before consolidation, quality of consolidation, and closes near high. So let's look at just one scan for this and see what do you find. Like you have today, if you run this scan 4%, which is the 4% scan, and basically it looks for a stock which is up 4% V by V1 and 100,000. And what do you see? And one by one you have to go and see if any of these stocks meets your condition. Now the stock is in a downtrend, so no. So this is again like in a downtrend. No. Now here is a stock which basically I highlighted when I highlighted it was at a much lower level. Probably here somewhere around 20s when I highlighted it. Okay. Now this is a stock. You will see sector after sector. Now is this the best of the setup? But like comparing all the other stocks, at the moment this is one good setup. Okay. Now look at Nugget. Like a lot of these kind of ETFs, as I said multiple times, they start move from extreme weakness. The best way to buy ETFs is near their lows. So this is another setup which is showing up, and compared to all the other these kind of just bounces, this is a setup where you have some sort of a base. This is the first leg, and then because it is a ETF, it will have, especially triple ETF, will have a higher volatility. But if this is the start of a new move for this particular ETF, it allows us to get into it right at the beginning. Again, these are just bounces from oversold condition. Now the stock obviously doesn't have a narrow range day before it has a negative, but narrow range day doesn't close near the high, so that eliminates it. These are all like stocks which are bouncing back. Again, another one which is bouncing back. Now this is another one which is similar to the one which is Nugget. Okay, Ring. This is gold miners. Again, you have so many choices in that sector today because all of them are basically similar looking. SGDM, which is again another ETF for gold. Now you have all this gold stock breaking out, but this is not really as good a setup because this stock was already up 2 or 3 days in a row. GG. Again, these are bottoming setups. Some of them might work. I wouldn't all these are bottoming setups. Spread. Now stock did have a negative day. It can be considered, and this is the first leg orderly, so you can consider that. This faded Goro. Again, stock is up 2 days in a row. Okay. Now Goro, this is a nice setup. See, there is a base from which it is setting up, and it's a kind of a sector move which is happening in gold, so that is good. This is again up 3 days in a row, so no, this is another one which might work. So you have that. So sorry, the phone rang, but it broke my thought process. But this is another nice setup, and they are clustered in one sector. That's why the ETF might be a better idea. Even though individual stock might make a bigger move. Again, when you go into this triple ETF especially, you have to live with a lot more volatility. So let's see. So if we see this again, a silver ETF which is looking good, and VTGN and HMY, and so if we keep going, now these are really 1 cents and 2 cents, not worth your time going into all of these. But if you look at our methodical way of finding setups, you have KL, you have Nugget, you have JNUG, you have SGDM, okay, which is same as this thing. You have Fred, you have Goro, you have AG, and you have EXK. Is it guaranteed that they will work? No, but probability is that they will follow through, and this looks like a sector move. So what do? We buy and put a stop, close enough stop. So if it works, it will work in our favor, and that's all you need to do to find good buy candidate. And similarly, if you want to like look at the dollar breakout on the bullish side, you can do the same thing on that. Okay, you have 279 candidate, like basically lot of them are bounces. See, most of these are like these kind of bounces which are like not a setup where I have enough experience to trade, so I don't need to go there, because the good setups which meet 3-lynch criteria are showing up in a sector which every stock in that sector has that kind of a thing. So it probably is a sector move coming out of a bottoming kind of a process. So that's a better setup than all these kind of setups. And you can keep going through all these setup to look for the 3-lynch candidate, and probably you'll find the same candidate. Some of those gold related stock might show up as better candidate. None of these meet my definition, and so I don't need to go to the city where I don't have a map to. While the stocks which meet my criteria, I already saw them in the 4% breakout scan, and that's where I bought. And even that KL, I told you KL much earlier, before even it made that later part of the move, and from that move itself I think it made 60-70 cents. So all that you need to do is to focus, and if you remember, every single detail about this setup, how to scan for it, scans, what to look for is there. So it's just a turnkey solution. All that you need to do is to show up every day and use the methods and do risk management, aggressive trade management. And if you do that, then you'll be able to buy lots of very expensive whiskey. So these are all like stocks which are showing up in the scan, but none of these like to me look like a buy candidate for a swing. And I'm talking about primarily swing in this particular video. So the gold stocks are the one which looks the best as of now, based on the criteria which we look for. Like see here, KL is already something which we found in the other thing also. So that's the one which obviously I am a buyer of. And then the question is, look, even this looks like a very nice setup. See, very orderly pullback. This is a very nice setup. The volume is low, that's why it's in dollar breakout, not in 4% breakout. And then you found one more good setup. How difficult is this? The problem is that very few people stick to a setup for a long period of time, or they don't have belief. Why they don't stick to the setup is because they don't have belief in the setup. So if you have belief in the setup, you will find that these setups work, and you can make money out of them. If you don't have a belief, then you are like every day going and looking at anything and everything, and not having a set methodology. That is true of even the lemonade strategy or anything. Like, today if you're asking me, should I be getting out of my 401k, means you've never understood the lemonade strategy. Like, now getting out of 401k, you're too late. Lot of the damage has been done. So you should have got out much earlier. Now these are all things which require one-time learning, and also killer instinct in terms of, do you desperately want to really make money, big amount of money, not just like sit there and wait for things to happen. Even this looks like a nice setup. All the setups in this gold stock, they will look similar. They are all coming out of bottom, and as I said multiple times, especially for like ETFs and sector moves, especially triple and all, you have to look at like near the lows. So here, if you look at it again, barring Amarin, which is this thing, these are all like, and I can copy them into momentum burst kind of a thing from the 4% also, from the thing, copy flagged into momentum burst. So if we stick to our guns and keep looking for our setups, they show up, but you have to be very clear. And let's look at the bearish side, because we are at it from the 4% breakdown, if there is anything which is showing up, and if there is any short setup in the market. And that's all that is to this game, which is basically like, if you look at all these are all short setup, but like I wouldn't take that if we are going to take a long on that, like say even this dust is same as taking nugget or JNUG basically. So these are all like the bearish part of the gold ETFs. Now let's look at the other side of it, which is dollar breakdowns, and if you can find a good setup in that. Obviously, with the market being down so much in last couple of days, you're unlikely to find something. But yes, as a part of methodology, I look at everything, and because if you look at everything, you might sometimes find something which is like this looks like a looks like a setup which might have some follow through. Alliant Energy, it is a utility, not a very fast moving stocks if you're in utilities kind of things. See, all of those utilities kind of sector thing which had gone up because of the market weakness, but I don't think you should short those because they are like not necessarily the fastest moving characters, but a lot of utilities you will see which meet the setup definition today basically. Yeah, it's another utility basically. So methodology, process, scans, and everything has been given to you as a turnkey solution. You need to just start using that if you want to make money. All of these are possible shorts. These are all utilities which I think it may not be the best way to do it, in the sense they are not really the fast moving stocks. So that was another utility which was a setup, short setup probably. That's another utility. So no matter what is happening in the market, run your scans, and if a setup meets your definition, you might decide to take a smaller position or not take as big a position to just control your risk, because the market is too volatile at the moment. But the opportunities are there. If you come in with an opportunistic kind of a viewpoint, all that I care about is how am I going to make the next 5,000 or 10,000 or 25,000. I have no views on what the economy is going to do or what is going to happen. That doesn't get me money. The setups, the processes, rigorously using them, doing aggressive trade management gives me money. Some of these can also work, like Kimberly Clark looks like might have a follow through. Not the best of the setups, because the most of the stuff which had to go down has already gone down. So now you will get a second stage of breakdowns after some days, which will be really the second stage for which is a continuation kind of move. So you have some L&T and this thing Kimberly Clark, but as I said, these are like utilities, and this is not really a stock which is stretched a lot. You want to short something which was stretched a lot, so not much to look at. So all in all, if you do this, what you should be finding is you'll find JNUG, SGDM, and you should have found it much earlier also if you had done this scanning earlier. Goro, Fred, AG, Gold, KL, Royal Gold, Newport Mining, Amaran, and Nugget. And that's how you can make money using a simple framework of 3-lynch, provided you are serious about making money and you can stick to a methodology.